One of the most dramatic changes in the institution of marriage in recent years has been the recognition by some states of same-sex marriages. Should you be asked to officiate at such an event, you should explain some facts about such marriages to the couple before agreeing to conduct the ceremony. You are not trying to dissuade the couple, you are merely making sure they are aware of all facts pertaining to the marriage before proceeding. Same-sex marriage has been legalized only in the states shown here. You will notice the legality of same-sex marriages in California is still a hotly contested issue. The Defense of Marriage Act prohibits any agency of the federal government from recognizing such a union. So even though a same-sex couple may be legally married according to state law, they will still not be eligible to file a tax return as married. Likewise, the marriage will not be recognized by the Social Security Administration, Veterans Administration, or any other federal agency. Furthermore, the Defense of Marriage Act states that other states do not have to recognize these marriages. So two men who are married in Massachusetts will not be considered married in Nebraska. You should make the couple aware of this before proceeding with planning the ceremony. The states you see listed here have attempted to sidestep the issue of same-sex marriage by authorizing civil unions. Civil unions are only recognized in these states. Civil unions grant same-sex couples rights to certain state-level benefits. The benefits granted vary from state to state. Here again, federal law prohibits recognition of these unions for the purpose of participating in federal programs. There is no filing status of civil union on a tax return. If one partner in a civil union dies, the other is not entitled to Social Security survivor benefits. And since such unions have only state recognition, the option to offer health insurance benefits to civil union partners is left largely to the discretion of the employer. Here again we see that since the recognition and definition of civil unions varies from state to state, couples involved in such unions might have problems with employment, hospital visitation, relations with the schools of their children, and yes, there are same-sex couples raising children, and other issues if they relocate. We also see that a civil union does not carry the same social status as a marriage. The implication here is that a civil union is merely a government convenience and does not carry the same blessing of God that a marriage does. Since I do not claim to be able to read God's mind, I do not attempt to tell others what He is thinking. I will leave that to others who are more intelligent and telepathic. You will find more in-depth discussions of civil unions at the links shown here. Finally, the states you see here recognize domestic partnerships for heterosexual couples. The level of participation allowed varies from state to state. So, as you can see, the institution of marriage is not as clearly defined as it once was. It is incumbent on you as a professional wedding minister to make sure that all parties, including yourself, are aware of the applicable laws and regulations and abide by them. One final note on this subject. Just because a certain relationship is permitted by state regulations, you, as a wedding minister, are not required to offer these services. If a certain relationship offends your religious principles or sense of morality, you are not required by any law to have any involvement with them. This is merely another aspect of the First Amendment to the Constitution, which allows you to operate your wedding ministry according to your vision of God and His purpose for your life. Others may not agree with your vision, and you may not agree with theirs. The First Amendment guarantees both of you the right to do so. So we see that a marriage is a legal document imparting certain rights, privileges, and responsibilities to the bride, groom, and wedding minister. In addition, a marriage forms a legal partnership in which each party has unlimited liability for the debts of the other. Making the couple aware of this should be part of your premarital counseling, which we will discuss in detail later. And finally, remember that the marriage license not only certifies the legality of the marriage between the two parties, it also attests to your authority to certify such a union. You should devote serious time and effort to make sure you fully understand all implications of your signature on this document. So now that you are an ordained minister with a wedding ministry recognized by your state and local governments, and have an understanding of your rights and responsibilities as a wedding minister, we need to devote our attention to attracting clients to your wedding ministry. This involves answering the 5 questions shown here. Who will want your services? What unique qualities do you have to offer your clients? When will you perform services? Where will you perform services? Why should people choose you to perform these services? And how will you let people know about your wedding ministry? There's an old saying, build a better mousetrap and the world will beat a path to your door. This is true, but first you have to let them know you're selling mousetraps, and second, you have to provide directions to help people find your door. So the answers to these questions will form the basis of your marketing plan. For those unfamiliar with business practices, I have provided a definition of a marketing plan, which you see here. Very simply, a marketing plan specifies what you plan to accomplish and how you plan to accomplish it. Successful businesses have followed a very simple formula over the ages. Plan your work, then work your plan. This will be our focus for the remainder of this unit. For our purposes, we will keep things short and simple. If you want more information about marketing plans and sample marketing plans to use as a template, you will find them at the websites shown below. So let's start with the first question. Who will want your services? I think it's safe to say that you will not be able to perform every wedding in the world. So you should operate your marketing plan the same way you take a picture. If you want to take a good picture, the first thing you have to do is focus the camera. Likewise, you need to decide where you will focus your marketing efforts. What geographic area will you serve? The vast majority of wedding ministers will want to start with your immediate locality and work your way out. How far you extend your marketing territory depends on your ability and willingness to travel, and the rewards to be gained versus the time and expense involved. What are the demographics of your target population? Do you plan to focus on younger people experiencing their first wedding, or older people who may have had previous marriages? Do you plan to perform weddings for those of a particular religious persuasion? Do you plan to offer services for the gay, lesbian, bi, transsexual community? Do you plan to serve those of a particular race or national origin? Do you want to marry those with a combination of these factors? Do you want to perform big ticket weddings that make the society pages, or will you concentrate on smaller weddings for those with limited resources? And is there a niche market within your marketing area which is historically underserved? The answers to these questions will determine the content, methods, and cost of your marketing campaign. Obviously, to answer these questions, you will need to get to know your proposed marketing area. This will also be helpful in organizing your support team, which we will discuss later. Once you determine who your wedding ministry will serve, you need to decide what services you will offer. More specifically, what can you offer that is not currently being offered by other wedding service providers? We have discussed various alternatives to traditional weddings. Can you profitably offer hand fastings for those in civil unions or domestic partnerships? Will you perform weddings in exotic locations? People have been married while skin diving in the ocean. People have been married while skydiving. Are you willing and able to perform weddings in unusual environments? Can you perform weddings in foreign languages? If so, you may be able to profit from these abilities. Once you determine what is not being offered, you need to determine why it is not being offered. Is it economically feasible to offer these services? Is there physical danger involved? Will offering services to a niche market harm your ability to market yourself to the general population? Again, you will need to research your community to find the answers to these questions. Next, you will need to determine when you will be able to provide services. Will you need special training? How much time is involved? Will special clothing or equipment be needed? How soon can you acquire it? How long will it take to assemble your support team? How much time will you spend prospecting for clients? How soon will your marketing efforts get results? You need to realize that as a wedding minister, time is one of your most important assets. The main thing you have to sell as a wedding minister is your time. It takes time to assemble your assets. It takes time to prepare for a wedding. You will have to spend time with the families, time with the couple, and time with the vendors who are assisting with the ceremony. You need to acquire time management skills and budget your time in order to accomplish what you want to accomplish when you need to accomplish it. You also need to impress on the families and your suppliers the need to accomplish preparation tasks in a timely manner. You don't want necessary tasks to be accomplished in a haphazard manner because people ran out of time. Time is a limited resource. There are only so many hours in a day. The numerous tasks involved in a wedding must be completed on time. And as you grow older, you will realize that you only have a limited amount of time on this planet to accomplish your mission. Learn to use it wisely.